today we're going to be talking about all things cosmetics and personal care products. First, we're going to go through some of the safety concerns with these products and ingredients used with them currently. Then we're going to move on to some tools that EWG has to make it easier for you as consumers to find healthier products without sketchy ingredients in them.
Personal care products, those are products that we use every day. It's not products that are simply used by women. It's not simply just makeups. It's most products that you rub on your skin. It's products that are used by men, women, and children. Lotions, toothpaste, deodorant. It encompasses all of those products, right? So a survey that EWG did a few years ago showed that women on average use about 12 personal care products a day, and men on average use about 6. And through this use, we are exposed to between 80 and 100 chemicals, unique chemicals a day. So, wow. Yeah, this is a big deal. This is something that we should at least know what we're putting on our skin. The problem is that a lot of the chemicals that are used in personal care products have never been assessed for safety. And some of the ingredients that have been assessed have been associated with serious health impacts.
And they're still allowed to be put in these cosmetics, even if they've been shown to have some negative health impacts.
Absolutely. The law that governs our personal care products right now has not been updated since the 1930s. I was so shocked when I learned that at first. I was like, I don't know what the style was in the 1930s. I don't know anything about the 1930s. Obviously, most of the people that I know weren't even born in the 1930s. Yet the makeup and the personal care products that I'm using every day, the laws that govern them haven't been updated since the 1930s. And that law doesn't give FDA a lot of authority. So companies don't have to test ingredients before they use them, before they hit store shelves. And the FDA virtually has no authority to ensure that our personal care products are safe. So the onus is completely on the companies who are making the products. So the cosmetics industry, and I know I'm going on, but I'm so passionate about it. The cosmetics industry is a self-regulated industry, and we need to change that.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's pretty shocking that they can use almost any chemical in their products. Could you maybe talk about a couple of the common chemicals that we know are bad actors, or that we flag for consumers that they maybe should be wary of products that have them in them?
Right. So it's hard to say definitively that, we know a chemical is a bad actor. We can suspect, and we suspect that many of them are because of lab tests that we've seen and some human tests, but hardly ever epidemiologic data. But there are a lot of ingredients in our personal care products that lab tests indicate may have a deleterious effect on our health. For example, there are a broad group of ingredients that affect our hormones. They're called endocrine disrupting chemicals, yes. And as you know, at least, our hormones dictate all of the goings on in our body. They guide our growth, development, and reproduction. And so you don't want to mess with your hormones. A few of the chemicals that we know are in personal care products, they're used pretty heavily in personal care products, and they are classified as endocrine disrupting chemicals, are parabens, especially the long chain parabens.
Okay.
Phthalates.
Okay.
A lot of people have heard about DBP. It used to be used heavily in nail polish, but because of its endocrine disrupting potential, a lot of companies have stopped using it. And those are just two. Those are two of the most widely used ones, endocrine disrupting chemicals. But those are two that I am certain if you walk to the supermarket or you walk to your nearest corner store and pick up products, you're still going to see quite a few of those chemicals being used. A lot of chemicals, you hear talk about it, and a lot of the companies will say, oh, we use it in really, really tiny doses. Well, one of the things that's very unique to endocrine disrupting chemicals is that they affect your endocrine system at extremely low doses.
Right.
And these ingredients, sure, they are being used at low doses. We can't dispute that. But we also know that we're routinely using them. We're smearing our bodies with with moisturizer
Sure.
on a daily basis. I don't know about you, I put on lip gloss a couple times a day. So while it's small doses, some of these chemicals can build up and have an effect that way.
Okay, got it. So now, Nika, one of the things that I think a lot of people have been talking about recently is this term fragrance on chemicals. And I know I see personal care products, and I know I see it on a lot of my products. But I'm a little unclear as to what could fall under, it seems like a vague term.
It is. It is a vague term, and it's one of the many deficits with the law. There's this loophole that although companies have to list most of their ingredients, if not all of their ingredients on pack, which means on their packaging, what they don't have to list is all of the ingredients that go into their fragrance mixture. So that may not sound like a big deal. Is the mixture 5 chemicals? Is it 3? It could be as much as 3,000. The fragrance palette, we do know that some of the ingredients typically used in fragrance have been associated with negative health impacts. We know some endocrine disruptors are used in fragrance, but when you see the term fragrance on pack, you don't know if one of those ingredients is in your product. And I think this is a good point because a lot of people think EWG advocates for fragrance-free.
Sure.
And anti-scent. We're not anti-scent. I can tell you 100% we're not anti-scent. What we are pro is we're pro right to know. We're pro complete disclosure so that you as a consumer can make an educated decision about the products you bring into your home. And the only way you can do that is by knowing what's in the product.
Well, I know one of the things that I do when I'm looking at buying products is to stay away from ones with a multitude of ingredients. But now you're telling me I see fragrance, and that could be 100 different chemicals. So even if you have 4 on the ingredient label, if fragrance is one of them, you really have no idea.
Absolutely.